Hello, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Lauren Phillips, and today I will be discussing with you the story of Marvin Anderson, a wrongfully convicted man who was failed by the justice system. On July 17th, 1982, a young woman was brutally raped by a black man whom she said she did not know. He approached her with a gun and sodomized her. The report was filed and the police began to search for subjects. Anderson was singled out because he was the only black man in the area known to live with a white woman. The only connection he had with the victim was that they lived in the same neighborhood. During the investigation, the victim was asked to identify her rapist from mugshots of 6 different black men, and she confirmed her assailant was Anderson. The trial ended and the verdict was that Marvin Anderson was guilty. The court sentenced him to a total of 210 years imprisonment in the Virginia State Penitentiary. Here's a photo of Marvin after he was released from prison. And here is an enactment of what happened on that night, July 17th, 1982.
Give me your money or I'll shoot you. Help!
Marvin did an interview with the Innocence Project where he talks about what happened during the trial and how things really went down.
The photo spread that she was shown to were all black and white pictures, mugshots. Well, I've never been in trouble with the law before, so there wasn't a mugshot of me anywhere. And the investigator officer retrieved a work ID, which is a color, photo. Each time they showed her photographs of a photo mug, my picture was in each set, that one color picture. And by doing that, you're looking at a photo spread of all black and white pictures and one color pictures keep showing up. Eventually, it's going to stick in your mind. And a phone call from Mr. Peter Newfair, who is from the New York Innocent Project Network, one of the co-founders. And he informed me that he has some good news and some bad news. We have a type of relationship where I said, Peter, okay, give me the bad news first. And he said, well, I'm going to give you the good news first. He said, we ran tests on DNA, and you have been excluded from everything. So I'm like, okay, so what's the bad news? He said, well, the bad news is that the Attorney General has put a halt on your testing. And when he called...
Later, DNA analysis was performed on the evidence. The serology work completed by the Virginia Bureau of Forensic Science was uninformative. But luckily, Marvin had an alibi, his girlfriend. Relationship to Marvin Anderson.
I'm his girlfriend.
Were you with him on the night of July 17th, 1982?
Yes, we were at our house.
So do you think Marvin is wrongfully convicted?
I do. All the evidence points to it.
Thank you for your time. People in the community began to believe the suspect was another black man by the name of John Otis Lincoln. The bicycle that was stolen and used by the assailant had been identified by the original owner, who said that Lincoln had stolen it the night the rape took place. John Otis Lincoln confessed to his involvement with the crime in 1988, yet the judge from the original trial declared Lincoln a liar and would not reopen the case. Marvin vowed to prove his innocence and did everything he could to get another chance. He insisted that the semen samples be tested through DNA analysis. He was informed that the rape kit from the crime was destroyed, and that's when he contacted the Innocence Project in 1994. It wasn't until August 2002 that Marvin was fully exonerated after another DNA analysis excluded Anderson as the perpetrator. Marvin was in jail for 15 years and was in parole for another 5 before he was fully exonerated.
I was on Interstate 95 on my way home from work, driving a tractor trailer, and Peter called me up on the phone. Normal questions. Hey Marvin, how you doing? This is Peter Newfair. What are you doing? And I was like, I'm on the interstate heading home. And that's when he said, well, we found your evidence. And I can't officially say you've been excluded, but you've been excluded. And I was like, oh my goodness. You know, I was like, Peter, wait a minute. I said, man, I'm on 95. I'm driving a big truck. Let me get home. I'm only 5 minutes away from home. And he was like, okay, call me back when you get home. So I'm driving along, and you like, man.
I concluded that the original investigation and trial was a horrible misjudgment of the law. Convicting someone simply off of a victim's memory of a traumatic moment is so flawed. After going through something like that, our minds are prone to distortion. I am glad justice was eventually served through DNA analysis, but I am upset that it took 20 years to do so. DNA is a helpful tool in uncovering crimes like this, but it doesn't hold up for all crimes. For example, a suspect involved in a crime that took place in a populated area could argue their innocence by just stating they also happened to be at the crime scene. Luckily, in this case, DNA results proved Marvin's innocence and gave him his life back. After his exoneration, Marvin pursued his longtime dream of becoming a firefighter, and today he is the chief of Hanover, Virginia Fire Department. He also has 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter. Sadly, much of Marvin's life was ripped away from him, but at least he is now able to celebrate his freedom. Here's a picture of Marvin before he was in jail. Now here are some pictures of Marvin years later after he was finally released from jail.
And I spent 15 years incarcerated, 5 years on parole for crimes I did not commit. Since then, I am a father of 3, single parent, and I have my own business, also a volunteer district chief for the county that I live in, and enjoying life.
As the perpetrator. Marvin went to jail. Oh my God!
Give me all your money.